Welcome to the Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Hi, I'm Nikki, a passionate special educator, autism advocate, resource creator with over a decade of experience, and you may know me as the face behind Teaching Autism. This podcast is your go-to place for practical tips, hands-on strategies, and inspiring and funny stories to support special educators all around the world, whether it's building independence, creating engaging lessons, or finding that elusive work-life balance. I'm here to help you thrive inside and outside of the classroom. Let's dive into today's episode and make a difference together. Hey friend, and welcome back to the Teaching Autism podcast. I'm Nikki, your go-to for visual supports, task boxes, and reminding you that you are not losing your mind if your student just did the complete opposite of what worked yesterday. Because today, we are diving into the dreaded moment where you throw your hands up in the air and say, I've tried everything and nothing is working. If that's where you're at right now, or if you've been there before, this one is for you. First of all, let me say this loud and clear. It's not just you. You are not doing anything wrong. Sometimes behavior is complex, and sometimes regulation just takes time. And sometimes the strategies feel like you're throwing spaghetti at a wall and just hoping that something sticks. But here's the truth. Just because something doesn't work yet doesn't mean it never will. And just because you may have a student who isn't responding the way that you expected to, doesn't mean that they're choosing to misbehave. So today, I'm going to give you a little behavior troubleshooting checklist, the things that I run through when nothing seems to be working. All right, let's dive in. Step number 1, I want you to recheck the function. Let's go back to the basics. What is the function of the behavior? Because sometimes we think we know, but we don't. And maybe you assumed your student was acting out for attention, but actually they're overwhelmed and trying to escape. Or maybe you thought it was sensory seeking, but really they're using the behavior to communicate, I don't feel safe. So pause, reassess, do some quick ABC tracking. What's happening before the behavior? What's happening after? If the behavior is continue, it's working for the child in some way. So your job now is to figure out how. Step number 2, I want you to look at the environment. We often focus so much on the child that we do forget to look at the environment. So ask yourself, is the classroom too loud, too bright, too busy, too unpredictable? Are the demands too high or way too low and boring? Are transitions happening too fast? Are staff responding inconsistently? Sometimes it's not the student, it's the environment that's setting them up to fail. So tiny changes can make a huge difference. Things like dimming the lights, offering noise cancelling headphones, using visual timers, chunking tasks into smaller parts, providing choices to give back a bit of control. Don't underestimate the power of a little tweak. Step number 3, check for skill gaps. So here's a biggie. Is the behavior actually a missing skill? Because you can't reinforce your way out of a skill deficit. If your student is refusing work, maybe it's too hard. If they're screaming instead of using visuals, maybe they haven't learned how. If they're pushing peers away, maybe they don't have the social tools yet. Behavior often masks lagging skills in communication, emotional regulation, executive functioning, social interaction, sensory processing. So instead of asking, why are they doing this? Try what skill do they need in order to do something different. And that's where your support should focus. So step number 4, consistency check. Are adults on the same page? Here's a little awkward question I always ask myself. Is the strategy really not working, or are we just not all using it consistently? I know it's a bit yikes. But honestly, inconsistency is one of the biggest reasons that behavior plans fail. If one adult reinforces a break card, but another ignores it, or if one staff member gives a preferred item after a meltdown and the other doesn't, or if visuals are sometimes used, sometimes lost, sometimes forgotten, the child's not confused, we are. So make sure your team knows the plan, has quick access to supports, is trained in using them, and checks in weekly, even for 5 minutes, just to make sure that you're all aligned and on the same track. Step number 5, check the regulation. And I mean your student's regulation and yours, because this one hits deep. But sometimes the behavior doesn't change because the child is constantly dysregulated and no one's addressing that first. And sometimes we are dysregulated as well. We're stressed, we're overstimulated. We're in go, go, go mode and expecting a child to regulate in an environment that we are barely handling ourselves. So what do? We are going to prioritize regulation before instruction. We are going to slow things down. We can use some co-regulation strategies. We can build in movement and sensory inputs and quiet time. And yes, you do need to take care of yourself as well. Regulation is the foundation, and without it, no strategy is going to stick. Okay, step number 6, it's okay to try something new. If something truly isn't working, let it go. Not everything will work for every student. Not every visual and social story and reward chart is magic, and that's okay. It's not failure. Think of it like feedback. So try something else, a different tool, maybe a simpler strategy. Maybe you need more of a neuroaffirming approach, maybe a shorter day, maybe a reduced workload, maybe some more time for connection and building that relationship and trust. And sometimes even just backing off is the breakthrough. So if you're in a season where nothing seems to be working, please know that this will not last forever. You are not failing. You are not missing some secret trick that everyone else knows, but you are showing up, you're observing, you're adapting, you're trying again, and that is the work. Sometimes behavior change can take weeks, sometimes months, sometimes it gets worse before it even gets better. But every time that you pause and work with this and build that connection and that trust and that understanding, that's when you are going to start to see progress. I know sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees or the trees through the forest, but it will pay off. The time will come. You will see the benefits of all the work you're putting in. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If this episode gave you a few ideas or at least made you feel a little more seen, I would love to hear from you. You can find me on social media, come chat with me, send me an email, check out my behavior resources and trainings over on my blog and TPT. And if no one told you today, you are doing an amazing job. Seriously, you're showing up even when it's hard, and that's what matters. Until next time, keep being kind to yourself and your students. You've got this.